What if you never had to sleep again? Imagine the possibilities. Gaining back 1/3 of your life, more time to pursue your passions, work, or simply relax. On the surface, the idea seems liberating. No more groggy mornings. No more feeling like there aren't enough hours in the day. You could get ahead in ways others can't, accomplish more, and perhaps live a more fulfilling life. But is the reality of a sleepless existence as ideal as it first appears? First, let's think about why we sleep in the first place. Sleep is more than just rest. It's a biological necessity. It's when our brain consolidates memories, repairs cells, and maintains cognitive function. Without sleep, how would we handle the physical and mental toll that life naturally brings? While we might gain more waking hours, would we still have the energy, the creativity, the emotional balance that sleep helps us maintain? Consider how sleep is intricately tied to our mental health. A lack of sleep is linked to higher rates of anxiety, depression, and cognitive decline. In a world where we never sleep, would we actually be better off? Or would we be pushing ourselves beyond our limits, risking burnout, emotional instability? Sleep helps us regulate stress, and without it, we might lose our ability to cope with the everyday pressures of life. There's also the question of how this would affect our relationships. Sleep is a natural rhythm that structures our social lives. Without it, would our interactions become more transactional? Without the shared experience of rest, late-night conversations, or the comfort of falling asleep next to a loved one, would we lose some of the depth and intimacy that makes human connection so meaningful? Moreover, having more time doesn't necessarily mean we'd use it wisely. Humans are great at filling time, often with distractions, not productivity. Would gaining more hours really lead to a more fulfilling life? Or would we find ourselves more overwhelmed by the constant need to fill every waking moment with something useful? The pressure to be constantly productive could lead to even more stress, making us feel like we're on a never-ending treadmill. Critically, we should also think about how our culture would change. The modern world already glorifies busyness and productivity. If sleep were no longer necessary, would we be expected to work even longer hours, pushing the boundaries of what is considered a normal day? The absence of sleep could result in a society where rest becomes obsolete and work dominates even more of our lives, with fewer boundaries between personal time and professional obligations. And what about the restorative nature of sleep, the escape it provides from the noise and stress of everyday life? In a sleepless world, would we lose that natural reset? Our dreams, a product of sleep, often serve as a form of processing emotions, working through problems, or even inspiration for creativity. Without sleep, would we lose access to this subconscious part of ourselves that helps us make sense of the world? While it's tempting to imagine what we could accomplish with extra time, the reality is that sleep is an essential part of our well-being. It's not just about productivity or efficiency. It's about balance. It allows us to recharge both physically and mentally so we can engage with the world fully when we are awake. So, what if you never had to sleep again? The reality may not be as ideal as it seems. Rather than a life filled with boundless energy and accomplishment, it might become one of exhaustion, emotional imbalance, and a loss of the very experiences, rest, dreams, and renewal that make life feel rich and meaningful. Sometimes it's the boundaries, like sleep, that give structure to our lives and help us appreciate the time we do have awake.